Welcome to my YouTube channel. My brother and sister, success, my friends, is not the race to the finish line. It's not a prize waiting for you at the end of your efforts. No, success is the realization that you are already immersed in it at this very moment, within every breath, every thought, every interaction. Success, as it is commonly understood, is often mistaken for a destination. We imagine success as a place, a point on the horizon that once reached will deliver us to the fulfillment we've been striving for. But success is not something you arrive at. It is not a fixed place or a moment in time. The nature of success is that it is a process, a continuous unfolding, a dance with life itself. In the modern world, we tend to measure success by external markers: wealth, fame, power, or achievement. But these are fleeting, often shallow indicators. They are not the essence of success. The essence of success lies in how we engage with life, how we experience each moment, and how we relate to ourselves and others. Success, in its truest form, is found in the way we move through life with awareness, understanding, and presence. When we look at nature, we see this truth reflected all around us. A tree doesn't worry about becoming the tallest or the most beautiful. It simply grows, unfurling its leaves in response to the sun, expanding its roots in search of nourishment. It doesn't strive to be something more. It simply is. Its success is inherent in its being. This is how life works too. Success is not a result of pushing and forcing, but of allowing yourself to grow, to evolve in harmony with the natural rhythms of life. So, the nature of success is not about achieving something external. It is about embracing the process, the unfolding of yourself in this moment as you are, and allowing yourself to be fully present with it. When you stop seeing success as something outside of you, you begin to realize that it is already within you. Success is not a goal to be attained. It is an experience to be had here and now in the fullness of your being. Awareness is the key that unlocks the door to true success. Without it, we are like travelers lost in a fog, chasing after distant landmarks that are only illusions. We think we are progressing, but in reality, we are merely moving through life on autopilot, missing the subtle beauty and richness of the present moment. When we speak of awareness, we are not referring simply to being conscious of our surroundings, nor are we speaking of an intellectual understanding. Awareness, in its deepest sense, is about being fully alive, fully engaged with each moment, and tuning into the subtle rhythms of life. It is the ability to see beyond the surface of things, to perceive the underlying connections, the invisible threads that bind all of existence together. Consider the act of simply being present in a conversation. When you truly listen, without distraction, without trying to formulate your response or judge the words, you are engaged in a state of awareness. You become one with the experience, no longer separated from the moment by the barriers of thought or expectation. In this space, you are able to see things as they truly are, not through the lens of your own projections, fears, or desires. In the context of success, awareness allows us to recognize what truly matters. So often we chase after external validations, believing that success lies in what others think of us or in the achievements we accumulate. But when we cultivate awareness, we begin to realize that these external markers are fleeting and often irrelevant to our deeper sense of fulfillment. True success in this sense is found in our ability to be aware of the beauty of simply being alive, of the small moments that pass unnoticed by those too caught up in their pursuits. Awareness is also a tool of acceptance. When you are aware of your thoughts and emotions without judgment, You are no longer controlled by them. You stop resisting the flow of life. You understand that every experience, whether deemed good or bad, is part of the larger tapestry of existence. And in this awareness, you find peace. Success in this light becomes a state of gracious surrender to life as it is, without trying to mold it into something else. Moreover, awareness expands your capacity for connection. When you are truly present, you are more attuned to the feelings, needs, and experiences of others. This awareness fosters compassion and understanding, enabling you to build deeper relationships and live in harmony with the world around you. Success then becomes not an isolated achievement, but a shared experience, a connection to the flow of life and to others who walk with you on this journey. Ultimately, the role of awareness in success is profound. It shifts the focus from the external to the internal, from striving to being, from doing to living. Through awareness, we come to see that success is not something to chase, but something to experience right here, in the present moment. The illusion of control is one of the most pervasive myths we hold about life. We believe that by mastering our circumstances, managing our actions, and forcing outcomes, we can steer the course of our existence. This belief in control gives us a sense of power, but in reality, it often keeps us trapped in a cycle of striving, anxiety, and frustration. The truth is, control is an illusion. Life, in all its complexity, cannot be boxed into predictable patterns. We are part of an ever-changing, ever-evolving world, one where events unfold according to forces much greater than our individual will. Just as we cannot control the winds or the tides, we cannot control the flow of life itself. We may try to bend it to our will, but in the end, life will always surprise us with its unpredictability. Consider the example of a river. It moves along its course, carving its path through mountains, overcoming obstacles, and flowing toward the sea. A river does not struggle to control its path. It does not obsess over its direction. Instead, it simply flows, responding to the landscape it encounters, moving around obstacles, embracing the natural course of its journey. The more the river resists, the more it is shaped by the forces outside of itself. In the same way, when we try to control life, we resist its natural flow, and in that resistance, we create suffering. When we acknowledge the illusion of control, we also begin to recognize that life does not need to be controlled to be successful. The belief that we must master every aspect of our existence often leads to stress, burnout, and a sense of disconnection from the present moment. We forget that success is not about forcing life into a mold, but about aligning ourselves with the natural rhythm of existence. True mastery comes not from control, but from accepting the flow of life as it comes, and moving with it rather than against it. The desire for control also stems from fear, the fear of uncertainty, the fear of the unknown. We cling to control as a way to feel safe, to reduce the anxiety of the unpredictable. Yet, in this clinging, we create a cage for ourselves. By trying to control what we cannot, we disconnect from the deeper truth of our existence. We are not separate from the world, but an integral part of it. The more we try to control life, the more we separate ourselves from the natural order. And in that separation, we lose touch with our own sense of peace. The illusion of control also often leads to a sense of isolation. When we attempt to control everything around us, we forget that we are part of a larger web of life. We are not solitary beings navigating a world of independent events, but interdependent with all things. The moment we recognize that we are part of this larger flow, this intricate web of existence, the need to control diminishes. We understand that life, like a dance, is a partnership between ourselves and the forces around us. To control is to forget the rhythm. To surrender is to become attuned to it. Ultimately, the illusion of control is a barrier to true freedom. It is only when we let go of the need to control that we open ourselves to the possibility of living fully. By accepting the unpredictability of life, by embracing its uncertainties, we find a freedom that control can never give us. The power of letting go is one of the most profound and liberating truths we can embrace. In a world that constantly tells us to hold on, to push forward, and to persist, the act of letting go may seem counterintuitive, even weak. Yet in truth, it is one of the most powerful actions we can take. To let go is not to give up. It is to release the illusion that we have control over everything and allow ourselves the freedom to flow with life rather than against it. At the heart of this power lies the understanding that attachment is the root of suffering. We cling to people, ideas, outcomes, and possessions because we believe that our happiness and fulfillment depend on them. But in doing so, we create a dependency that locks us in a state of constant anxiety and fear. What happens if those things are lost or change? What if we fail to attain what we desire? The grip of attachment creates a tension within USA fear of loss, a resistance to change that prevents us from fully experiencing the present moment. When we let go, we stop tying our sense of self-worth to external circumstances. We stop identifying so strongly with the fleeting and fragile things in life. Instead, we come to recognize that our true nature is not found in what we possess or what we achieve, but in the very act of being. By letting go, we release the burden of expectation, and in that release we find an incredible lightnesser sense of freedom that is not dependent on any specific outcome. Letting go is also an act of trust. When we hold on tightly to the way we think things should be, we deny the natural flow of life. We deny the possibility of growth, change, and transformation. But when we let go, we trust that life, in its infinite wisdom, will lead us where we need to go. We trust that the universe, or whatever force you may believe in, has a plan for us that is far greater than the one we could ever imagine. This trust allows us to move through life with a sense of peace and surrender, rather than the constant strain of trying to control every aspect of it. Consider the nature of a seed. It does not struggle or try to force itself to grow in a particular way. It simply surrenders to the process of growth, trusting that when the time is right, it will sprout, unfold, and blossom. In this way, the seed teaches us the profound wisdom of letting go. It doesn't resist the forces of nature. It simply allows them to guide its journey. The more we let go of the need to dictate our path, the more we align ourselves with the natural flow of life, and the more effortlessly we can unfold into who we are meant to be. The power of letting go is also a power of healing. So often, we hold on to past wounds, grudges, and regrets. We replay old stories in our minds, clinging to the pain as if it is part of our identity. But by holding on to these past hurts, we keep ourselves bound to them. We allow them to define us, to limit our growth. Letting go is the key to healing these old wounds. It is an act of releasing the grip of the past and making space for new experiences and perspectives. It is the act of forgiving not necessarily for the sake of others, but for our own peace and freedom. When we let go, we open ourselves up to new possibilities. We stop limiting our potential by the walls we have built around ourselves. We stop seeing life as something to be controlled or conquered, and instead, we begin to see it as a mystery to be experienced. By letting go of the need to have all the answers, we allow ourselves to explore the unknown, to take risks, to embrace uncertainty, and to discover new aspects of ourselves. Letting go is not a one-time act. It is an ongoing practicer, commitment to living more fully and authentically, free from the weight of unnecessary attachments. It is a daily choice to surrender to the present moment, to trust in the flow of life, and to release what no longer serves us. The power of letting go is the power to live with grace, peace, and freedom. It is the power to embrace life as it is without clinging to how we think it should be. Interconnectedness and harmony are at the core of the natural world and, when understood, at the core of a successful life. For much of our lives, we are taught to view ourselves as separate, isolated individuals. We define ourselves through our individual achievements, desires, and possessions. This sense of separation creates a false sense of self-importance and ultimately leads us to believe that we are separate from others and from the world itself. But this illusion of separateness is just that, an illusion. When we look deeply into the fabric of existence, we begin to see the profound interconnectedness of all things. Every person, every creature, every tree, every rock is part of a greater whole, an intricate web of life that transcends time and space. No single thing exists in isolation. Each action, each thought, each feeling ripples out into the world, influencing and shaping everything around it. This web of connection is what sustains life. It is what allows the world to function in a delicate balance, a harmony that exists beyond human understanding. Consider the example of a forest. Each tree, plant, and creature within that forest is interconnected. The trees share nutrients with one another through their roots, the animals depend on the plants for food, and the air is purified by the plant's ability to photosynthesize. Even when one element of the forest falls, whether a tree or an animal, its energy is absorbed and transformed into something else. Nothing truly dies. Everything is continually reborn, woven into the ever-turning cycle of life. This same interconnectedness exists within us. Our bodies, for example, are not separate parts. They are systems that work in concert to maintain life. Our heartbeat, our breathing, our digestional of these functions are dependent on one another. They do not exist independently, but in perfect cooperation. When one system is out of balance, the whole body feels it. The same applies to our minds, our relationships, and our emotional lives. Our thoughts, our actions, and our emotions are deeply connected to those of others. When we act with love, kindness, and understanding, we create ripples of harmony that extend far beyond ourselves. In a similar way, the success of a community or society is not based on the individual alone, but on the collective harmony of its people. When we recognize that we are part of a larger whole, we begin to shift our focus from individual gain to mutual benefit. The success of one is the success of all. True success is not measured by what we accumulate for ourselves, but by how we contribute to the well-being of those around us, how we help nurture the harmony of the world in which we live. Interconnectedness is also reflected in the cycles of nature. Just as day flows into night, summer into fall, and life into death, we too are part of an ongoing cycle, constantly evolving, growing, and transforming. Our journey is not linear. We are part of the ebb and flow of life, moving in harmony with the rhythms of the world around us. When we resist this natural flow, when we try to fight against change or cling to the past, disrupt the harmony. But when we accept and align ourselves with the cycles of nature, we move with grace and ease, embracing each moment as it comes. In this interconnected world, we must also recognize the importance of balance. Every action has a consequence. Every choice we make ripples through the web of life, influencing not only our own journey, but the journeys of others. Our success is not just dependent on what we do for ourselves, but on how we contribute to the greater balance of the world. We must learn to live in harmony with the environment, with others, and with ourselves. It is through this balance that we find true fulfillment. When we live with an awareness of interconnectedness, we begin to see that success is not something to be hoarded or kept to ourselves. It is something to be shared, something to be nurtured in the relationships we build and the communities we foster. In this sense, success becomes not just a personal achievement, but a collective experience, shared sense of well-being, growth, and harmony. It is a recognition that we are all part of something much greater than ourselves, and that our success is tied to the success of all. In conclusion, the journey toward a truly successful life is not one of external achievements or material gains, but of inner awakening and understanding. Success is found in recognizing the nature of life as an unfolding process, in embracing the awareness of the present moment, and in accepting the impermanence of control. Letting go of attachments and trusting in the flow of life brings freedom and peace, while understanding the deep interconnectedness of all things fosters harmony within ourselves and with the world around us. True success emerges when we align ourselves with this rhythm, moving through life with grace, compassion, and presence. It is not something to be chased, but something to be experienced through letting go, being aware, and connecting to the greater whole. When we realize that success is not a destination, but a way of being, we unlock the true potential of life itself.